Good morning. Welcome to our fifth exercise, which is slightly different today. This is an exercise looking at your character strengths, helping to scientifically explore your greatest strengths and to acknowledge them and to celebrate them. So since the COVID epidemic began, many of us have had to test our inner resources to cope with everything. And I think many of us have found that we're quite surprised how well we cope in the face of adversity. So all of us have great character strengths, and these vary hugely from person to person. And it's a really good time to understand what your strengths are and how you bring them to bear in your families and in your communities, and to understand them, to build upon them, to celebrate them, and to, harness them as much as you can going forward. So there is a wonderful psychological assessment designed by two American psychologists called the VIA, Values in Action Assessment. It's designed by Martin Seligman and Chris Peterson, two very famous American psychologists. And this assessment is scientifically validated, and it shows us our dominant strengths. And it also shows us the areas that aren't, where we don't have inherent strengths, where we would have to put more effort into developing those strengths. So it's really worthwhile doing this questionnaire. It's free and it takes about 20 minutes to do. So it's called a Values in Action Inventory. So if you just put in Values in Action, character strengths, it should bring you directly to the website, and you'll see a list of 24 character strengths. And then if you scroll down through those, it gives you those in great detail. But if you scroll down through those, you'll then find it says take a free survey, and just click on the take a free survey. Spend your 20 minutes doing it, and then it will give you results. Now, when it gives you results, it will say have a more detailed report. You don't need a more detailed report. They charge for that. It's not needed. If you scroll down below that, you will see how you have scored on the 24 strengths. They have divided the 24 strengths into 6 different fields, from wisdom to courage to the humanity, transcendence, justice, and moderation. So if, for example, you're someone who scores high on transcendence, you'll find that even during the last few weeks when they've been so difficult, you might have been able to just hold on to a great sense of your own spirituality and a sense that this was a time of great growth, and you felt very hopeful. If you were somebody who scored very high on courage, you might find that you found great stoicism and bravery in your response to what was going on, and you were able to use that for your community. So it's really interesting to use this scientifically backed test to see what your greatest strengths are. And the ones at the bottom, don't see them as weaknesses. But when you have got your results, explore them, acknowledge them. Have you been using these strengths? How could you use them more? How could you use them more with friends, family? Our communities may be different going forward when this pandemic ends. So how could you build on these strengths? On a very basic level, for example, couples who really know each other's strengths and play to those strengths, kind of putting the weaknesses to one side, tend to have better relationships and to be more committed. So that's how important it is to know ourselves and to acknowledge the strengths that we bring into our society.